I looked at it. It was supposed to add an app, but it didn't. So that's not what we're doing.
Hey, Google Hangouts.
What we are doing is
live.
we're saying, yeah, we are live. Yes, hello. We're Bakarama. My name is Dan.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Cameron, who's swallowing his coffee.
Fantastic. So happy Halloween, everyone who is watching us and all the people who are not watching us.
I hope you're having a spooktacular holiday.
Okay.
None of us got dressed up for Halloween because we're lame, and also it's not really Halloween in Australia, and also I don't think Halloween exists in Australia, does it?
Well, I went trick-or-treating yesterday with I work with some special needs kids. I went trick-or-treating. I'm like, dude, they're not going to get any candy. They got a shit ton of candy. Not American level candy, but it's funny because people don't really know how to do trick-or-treating here. So when you show up, if you're the first person in the house, they're like, and they'll have a big bag of candy. Instead of giving you one, they'll just give you the bag because they panic. Like, it's fuck. And I was like, that's weird when it first happened. But dude, it was almost every house. They're like, I don't know what to do. So like, it was either that or people would show up and they're like, oh shit, trick-or-treaters. And they're like, hold on. And they're like, clearly, like, someone gave us like stuff that they were clearly like, oh, this is for guests, but here, like, they didn't have anything, but like,
have some decorative.
Or like, they'll just grab a fistful of snacks. Someone gave us just a bag of apples. Like, it was like, all right, like, I'm down with that. But someone was giving out candy canes, and I'm like, I think you're goofing this up, man. Like,
so let me get this straight. You went house to house in a country that doesn't really celebrate Halloween,
but it does. Kind of does. It kind of does. Kind of doesn't. Like. It's weird.
But it sounds like you're almost just robbing people for their candy.
Well, we did have a kid who had a fake gun and said, stick them up.
Isn't that the spirit of trick-or-treating?
No, it's not. You buy a ridiculous amount of candy that you know you're never going to eat.
Tell that to my mother.
And then get this part. Not enough trick-or-treaters ever show up because they start to dwindle over the years as people get more and more like afraid of trick-or-treating. And so then there's this big pile of candy. So like I was upstairs and like my mom was like, hey, do you like this kind of candy? And it's like, I'm trying to watch my weight. And like, I don't know, like, and it ends up being stuff that I like, fucking Skittles. I love Skittles. Yeah. And last year, like, I was over at your guys' house, and your mom was like, "There, all this Halloween candy, you should eat it."
Course,
and I'm like, "Yeah, I should eat it, and I actually should not eat it." But like,
Halloween candy doesn't make it to Halloween here.
Yeah.
My mom eats it all.
That's the thing. It's a classic every year.
My mother eats it before.
Every year, my mom buys a big bag of candy. It's like, Cameron. Now, this is not to be opened before Halloween immediately gets open. She buys it like at the start of the month, and so we wreck that. And we get more candy, and we fucking wreck that too. And so it's the third trip that we finally get candy at the trick-or-treat. Two trick-or-treaters show up, we eat the rest, and it's like, man.
Yeah, but she always buys like Starburst and the shit that no one wants.
You don't like Starburst, dude?
I like 3 flavors of the 5 of Starburst.
There's 4! I was gonna say.
Okay, no, sorry. I like 2.
I don't like the lemon one. Oh, okay. Give it
lemon
to me.
Orange. Lemon and orange. Don't want. I'll give you the red and pink.
They all fucking taste the same to me, to be honest with you. Like,
they're still pretty dope, man. They're not dope when you're on your 5th bag, but they're still pretty dope.
Yeah, so I just don't like the fact that they're all individually packaged. It's like, this is too much effort for something that's not that great.
To be fair,
that is really annoying. Yeah,
I got a shit ton of extra credit points by doing that, though. I was like, oh, for every item you donate to the troops, you get an extra credit point. So I bought a big thing of Starburst, like the bag, and just opened it up and dumped it in. And it's like, that's not really what we meant. It's like, that's one item. It's like, no, there's like 40 there. It's like, fuck. So I got like, it was like a half point each item, so I got 20 points. Like, yeah, fuck you. You want me to bring in 40 back? It's like, dude, I could have opened each one and been like, yeah, there you go for the troops. Like, this is
what is this for, though? What are you donating for the troops?
It was like high school freshman year, I think, maybe sophomore, and it was like it was just a random thing, but I got like extra credit in English, which I was in. which is it's just the stupidest class. It was it was special ed.
English,
general.
the stupidest class.
Well, his version was he was in special.
No, mine was literally it was special needs kids and then kids who didn't give a fuck, and then there was me, who it sounds so stupid because like that sounds like, oh, I shouldn't be there, but I shouldn't. And what happened was I could have finished all this homework and I was like, oh, I'll do that in a minute, and then I just put it off. And then I just keep like I would be the only one in class like answering questions because no one else gave a fuck or didn't really understand it. And so I'm like the only one that really participated. And then fucking when I was like, oh, I'll go to a higher English, it's like, well, your grades aren't doing that well. Maybe you should stay here. I'm like, fucking heck. So yeah,
that's what happens when you don't.
And that's pretty much, dude. And it's just. I don't know. We didn't really read books so much as like watch the movie. And it's like, this isn't. Or no, we had Animal Farm, and I'd be like trying to read, and then the teacher would be reading out loud along with it, and it's like, dude, come on, man, like
because you're with a bunch of retards.
No. I mean, it was some.
But still,
like,
that was kind of. I got stuck in all of the low end classes and the co-teach classes when I was in school because I was the same way. I didn't do the homework. I didn't give a fuck, but I paid attention in class, and like when it came to time to like answer a question, always was like, yeah, it's this, and it was either because I listened or I watched the History Channel and I learned it already. And then when it came time for the test, I did well on the test because I knew everything. But it's like, I don't want to fucking do homework. Like, I got better things to do, like play PS2.
Seriously.
Like,
I'm not really sure how I graduated my math class because day one I walked in on my senior year and said, "Do not ever look for homework from me because it's not going to be there."
Now that I did not have the balls to say to my teacher.
No, I literally just told my teacher the first day, like, I'm never going to turn in homework. I'll do everything you want me to do in class. I'll take all the tests. I will never turn in a single. Once I leave here, I'm not doing this.
I was going to say, well, look at us now. We sure showed them. We're never going to do homework. I basically
told her,
and look at us now.
As long as you do not fail me, we'll be on great. Just don't fail me. That's all I want. I will pass with a D. I don't care.
Fucking A.
And
I should not have passed
like
middle
you said,
school technically. Yeah, because I did not.
Well, I had like A's in almost everything else except for math.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Well, there's certain classes where it's like I don't give a fuck about this, and other ones where you have an interest. It's like, yeah, all right, I'll do this. Like, dude, fucking FOT, man, Foundations of Tech, the Power and Engineer. Like, because I didn't give a I didn't really think I'd give a shit about that. It's like, oh, we're learning welding. That's dope. Like. Yeah, learn about electronics. Like, okay, yeah, like we're building this thing. It's like cool. And it's fucking shit.
Well, anyway, not to keep talking
wellness
about
walking. Fuck that.
Speaking of homework and things that we don't do, this week's homework was Samurai Flamenco, which was my suggestion.
The one who suggested it was the one who didn't finish.
You didn't finish.
That's because I already watched it, and I had other things to do this week, but I did catch. I watched most of it, and I caught up with some synopsises on Wikipedia for the episodes that I missed. And again, I already saw it, so like I technically completed the homework before you guys.
Completing it. All right, teacher's pet.
This is one I fucking wish I didn't finish. Jesus, it's fucking awful.
I see. Of all between the two of you, I thought you were going to be the one who would like it, like because it's like you love Japanese superhero shows, and
you're right. There are parts here that could have been a good show. I'm gonna spoil the shit out of this. I gave this a
Cameron.
4 out of 10.
Let me stop. Let me stop you there. We don't have to worry about spoiling the shit out of it because the whole point of the show is that we discuss the whole show. So,
I got you. No, I was meaning I'm just letting you know I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. It's a fucking 40%. I hated this. I hated this so okay, I was annoyed. I was not super annoyed, but I was
shall we actually say what we watched?
Yeah, we watched Samurai.
We did say what we watched. We watched Samurai Flamenco.
I don't remember when you said the name. Yeah.
We did, trust me.
Yeah, I did. Cameron knocks his dong over.
Yeah.
By the way, your microphone looks like a fucking dildo. Like a giant dildo. And he doesn't have any sound, so we can make fun of him. Yeah, it looks like one of those giant dildos that, like, you know that it really shouldn't fit anywhere. Like, it's too big to really be that practical. But people buy them anyway. It's almost like a showcase. And it's all, like, shiny and chrome, and it's got the ribs on the side, so it gives you extra stimulation.
At 30 different speeds.
30 different. No, that's a vibrator. It's a dildo. It doesn't actually do anything. It just.
The ones that cost extra do.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. It's got like the little hummingbird wings on the end, but we can't see that because it's below the screen. And
he's still dead audio wise.
And he's still dead audio wise. Did he fucking break his mic? I swear to God, if you broke your mic.
Technical difficulties. Yep, he has broken his mic. Where'd he go? I guess he's gone back to get his other mic.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay,
we might as well.
So let's talk about the good shit while he's there, while he's gone, since he apparently didn't like it. The general synopsis of Samurai Flamenco is
the general idea of Samurai Flamenco, as explained by I'm going to name drop and rip him off, is what would happen if someone had fantasy of being a superhero and the entire universe bent itself to basically grant his wish.
That's basically what happened.
Mm-hmm. It starts off a lot like Kick-Ass. It's, this random dude, I don't remember his name, and he's a male model, and Hazama Matayoshi. Yeah. Matayoshi.
Literally just watched the show 20 minutes ago. Can't remember his name.
Yeah. This is why we need to do notes, and we always say it and we don't do it. Anyway, he's a male model, and he decides one day that he wants to be a superhero. So he dons he kind of dons Kick-Ass style, like a helmet and like a scarf and everything, and he names himself after a character his grandfather created named Samurai Flamenco. He begins by basically pointing out when people put their trash out at the wrong time, because apparently that's like a big thing in Japan, is putting your trash out at the right time and like covering it with stuff so the animals don't get into it.
Yeah,
and
the net system I found was interesting.
Yeah, and yelling at people for smoking,
smoking areas, and
not
throwing their trash around and loitering after hours.
Oh,
there we go. You're back. Yay.
I return from
after
the land.
Breaking shit.
Yeah.
Did you actually break your mic?
No, I think the mic's fine. I think it was the fucking headphones I was using was one of these old Apple ones.
Not fucking headphone.
Thanks, Jazzy. Yeah, your fucking So first off, the pin on the headphone, you know how it's supposed to be like this? It was like this, or it was like burp. So it was already bent, and so when it fell back, I think it just love you, Josie. Even though you've shit tasting headphones, I don't know. I won't hold it. Long story. Where was I saying? Oh yeah, fuck this anime. Yeah, this sucked dick. Dude, it was a fucking awful, man. Hated every single minute of it. Lucas, I was thinking of, dude. So like last time we were watching fucking I was gonna call it Baka Rangers, whatever the fuck. Terraformers. And I was fucking watching that, and I was like, oh, Luke, man, this is getting a bit tricky. No, fucking masterpiece.
You go watch the second season of that.
I enjoyed the second season for some reason, because it's kind of like, yeah, you know what, like it's stupid, but fuck it. And so,
but that was last week, and we're talking about this week. So are you? Going to say
and this week it's dog shit, dude. It's fucking awful.
Why is it dog shit? Like, do you have a reason other than the fact that it's just dog shit? Like,
no, dude, I have a lot, man. The fucking.
Is there more Adolf is a cuck.
No, I wish, man. That made me very happy. No. Okay, first off, Terra for Mars.
We're not talking about Terra for Mars.
We're not talking about Terra for Mars. And you broke your fucking mic again. This is what you get for not being specific.
Okay, quickly, while he's busy doing that shit.
So eventually after doing just pointing out people smoking and whatnot, he starts actually solving some crimes and he gets a little bit of notoriety. People are filming him. He gets on TV. Then it's like, who is Samurai Flamenco? And it's really interesting. Like he also then the Flamenco girls start coming in and they're like,
it sounds like it's working now. Oh my god.
And they're a what is it? And they're a pop idol group that has decided to. Initially, it's just one of them who also really, really, really likes superheroes, and then she.
Hello.
All right. Okay. I was gonna say, was that just me? All right.
Yeah. Superheroes and cops.
Superheroes and cops.
She has a very, very strong obsession with police officers.
I wish they had done a little more with that too, because it's like it's funny for a couple episodes, and then a lot of the stuff that was really cool in the first part of the series kind of dwindles away as they kind of run off the gambit. So continuing the fly by the seat of our pants synopsis. Eventually, around episode 7 or 8, the whole series changes because what used to be just kind of everything is based in reality. Now there's giant monster creatures that are attacking citizens
and evil organizations and
actual evil.
I thought that was going to be fucking cool, man, and it had potential, right? But dude, I cannot stand this fucking series. It jumps around so fucking much.
But that's the thing. It's the progression of it.
But it's not. No. Because it's not progressing. It doesn't feel like these characters are getting better or more interesting or changing. It just feels like it's a bunch of incoherent strips of different stories that they're pushed together and tried to make something out of. I don't think this is a good series, man. It frustrates me because there's so many cool things you could do with this. And some of the things were interesting. That fucking, what it goes from, I'm just, helping, like going from, you littered, here, don't do that, to like, oh shit, there's actual like monster, this guy's killing people, fuck, like this isn't quite what I expected. Like jumping to that was kind of cool. And then it didn't really do anything. And then it's like, now Flamenco Rangers, and dude, it changes tones wildly.
Wildly. Get it right.
Fair enough. It changed tones wildly like 5 different times and just doesn't really build off each other either. Like, it's just ignore what happened. It's now this. And it's not good storytelling, dude. Like, I don't know.
Like, I think I agree that there's a lot of potential with this series that we, like, quite realize. But I think that but again, like, if you had been here for in what the series is really about, it's basically like what would happen if someone had the wish to be a superhero and the whole world bent itself to realize his wish. Like, it even goes to the part where it's like God comes down from on high. It's like, I made this all for you so that you could be a superhero.
You want to keep being aliens to fight evil villains organizations. You wanted to fight them, so I prevent you. What was the line? You can either continue with this, and I can bring on your next enemy, or you can go back to having a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And
a normal life of president of the world.
But to be fair, he was never elected.
Yeah, well,
he was the only one with 100% support from Japan.
It's fucking stupid. All right.
Look. Yeah, I mean, I think that
Mr. Justice.
Mr. Justice was awesome, and then Mr. Justice turns out to be an alien too. Like, it's
alien
like
Flamenco.
But it's like, if you think about it, it's a lot like what the old school like Japanese superhero shows were like, where like things just keep ramping up to ridiculous things, and it's like all of a sudden this dude turns out to be an alien. Woo! It's like he even has the cheesy music to go along with it. Like the music kind of sucks, but like
the music totally sucks.
And honestly,
but it's
I actually kind of enjoyed like where everything became like during the torture arc, where everything just became
I kind of like that though.
Where it's just like, oh, it's all right, honey, move off to the side. Flamenco's gonna fight the evil piranha now. Let's just keep doing our thing and going shopping. I just like how it became so just every day, like just like, oh, it's just Flamenco fighting the dude. All right, let's just keep off that side of the street. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that
commonplace that it was just.
Yeah, and I thought that had potential, but then they.
But what else? What exactly did you want from it? Like,
you know what I really wanted? I wanted a much. It sounds weird, but I wanted a more either stay on kind of one tone, or stay on one or two of them, right? What I really, really would like is a more Madoka-styled thing. I think that'd be fucking dope, where it's like, oh, I want to be a Super Sentai thing, and you don't really think about, like, oh, yeah, like, you think of it as great, beating up hotties and whatnot, but, like, oh, yeah, people still get hurt. Like, there's all these, issues with it. Like, it's not all looking cool and going to high school and whatever, being a Power Ranger. I mean, it's also just still kicking
a little bit of it. With at the end of Terror with the Flamenco.
I got little, very little, and it kind of touched on parts, but it's like, I mean, things like that I think would have been really cool. If not, it would have been kind of cool. Like I don't want to say like Hamatara, but like something where it's like, oh yeah, this has now become commonplace, and people are like, oh okay, like you said, oh move aside, honey, they're fighting piranhas or whatever. Like things like that are interesting in a world where like. Oh, this starts becoming commonplace, and it's more of a nuisance rather than this, what is this, run? Like, it's more, I think that would have been interesting. But instead of all of that, they keep throwing in just stupid, what was the whole point? So the whole point is, like, I liked some of the torture. Like I thought that was funny. I liked the putties. I liked some of the stupid. I liked I think I liked the guy Domestic Violence. I think he was really funny for some reason. I don't even remember what he did, but I just remember it was a dope cosplay could be made from.
I don't fully remember Domestic Violence.
It was pretty early on, but
no, he's not the rhino that was in the pot.
No, but it's like.
Did you pick one of the bad guys that literally just said his name and never appeared again?
Like, well, he was in one episode. I think he cuts Japan in half or something. Like it's some crazy shit. Here's the problem. Problem number one. I wrote all this shit down, and then I'm like, oh, right on the back with a Sharpie, and now I realize the front I wrote with a pencil. It's like fuck. Like domestic violence can make that out. So. Let's see. I don't know, man. I get it. They're talking about tropes and shit like this, but like they're just doing it badly, man. And then there's just like, there's points where it's like, over the top not over the top, but like a lot of violence or really dark twists. But like they don't do anything about it. It's not really dwelled upon. It's not like, again, I hate to go back to Madoka because Madoka is considered a really good, well-produced anime, but like there's a scene where whatever. There's a scene where I'm fighting, haha, like, yeah, don't worry about me. And then the girl gets her head bit off. And
chop scene, yeah.
Yeah, the realization of like, oh shit.
Way to spoil Madoka for everyone.
Yes. Yeah. But it's something, yeah, fair enough. But it's something where it's like, oh.
Don't worry, it's only like, episode 5.
Yeah, but it's a realization of like, this, not just this isn't all fun and games. Like she was someone who knew what she was doing and she still got fucked up. Like, and it's permanent. There's no coming back.
So basically what you want is Samurai Flamenco to have been a postmodern superhero show that was a little more serious.
Not necessarily. I wanted it to go in a couple of different directions. It was too wacky to do itself seriously, but it took itself too seriously to be this kind of like, oh, you know, just turn your brain out, like, oh, you know, it's fun, let's have fun with this, be wacky, or like a whether it's a deconstruction or some kind of deep set. Let me put it this way. Okay. The anime keeps doing stuff and acting like it's cool or thrilling or interesting. It's not. It takes itself too serious to be funny, and it acts too goofy to be enjoyable as a deconstruction, smart throwback, satire, bullshit, boring, and wasted potential. A more Madoka-like anime about Kamen Rider stuff would have been fucking fascinating if done correctly. Too bad this wasn't. It's something where, like, its tone is all over the place. It's this weird middle ground where you can do wacky and stupid. Like Konosuba kind of did something where it's like, yeah, we'll put the, you know, well, I guess we'll put the goddess in a cage and we'll stake it down and like we'll watch from afar. Where it's like, it's kind of smart. Like, oh yeah, we don't need to go in the thick of it. But it's also stupid. Where it's like, yeah.
But I also thought that like Konosuba, if anything else, absolutely didn't fucking go anywhere. Like it was like. It's like it had the potential. That was a show that really had the potential to be like a good parody of like that show that we keep talking about, that name Sword Art. It could have been a really good parody of Sword Art, and instead it was just kind of like a mediocre fantasy show. Like and I mean it goes to the end, and it's like they fight a giant walking fortress, and it's who cares?
Oh no, it got dumb as hell. I hated it at the end, but
yeah, I didn't really like. But I mean, at least with Samurai Flamenco, like it kind of makes there is a point to it. Like it's basically like, yeah, it's not really dwelling on anything, but it's definitely like taking things to its logical conclusions. It's like it's going through all the different kinds of superhero tropes. It even does get really dark and weird at the very, very end. Like,
I honestly, I did enjoy the whole Goto arc at the end, where they kind of explained that even though someone who looks like he's got his act together and looks like he's, you know, the normal one, has also got some deep-seated issues where he can't, you know, fully, like he's not as normal as you'd think he is.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I mean, I actually really got really interested towards the end of those last 4 episodes with that. Like, I was interested in the beginning because I actually thought that if they just kept it as like a Japanese anime of Kick-Ass version, where it's just he goes around fighting street toughs and eventually goes on and takes some kind of big gang out, and it ends at like 13 episodes. I think that would have worked out really well as well. Torture kind of lost me. As soon as Torture showed up, I kind of got bored at the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of like, yeah, I gotcha.
But towards the end of Torture, I liked it more. And then the fucking Flamengers showed up. And it's like, really?
I think the Flamengers
towards the end of Flamengers, I got that. Usually with the beginning of the new stuff is where I go, eh. And then towards the end of it, I enjoy it more and then move on. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was retarded at times. Okay, yeah, we defeat Torture. Then all of a sudden, From Beyond is a new thing. Yeah. Right? We defeat From Beyond.
I mean, I get it. These are tropes, but they're not. They're just doing tropes now. They're not.
But I also kind of like the whole after From Beyond, where they do pull that whole political. Well, you've served your purpose. Now you're going to serve a different purpose type.
Yeah, it turns into Watchmen. Like it basically turns into Watchmen at that point, and like and goes to that logical conclusion. And then there's a twist at that, and it's like I liked that it kept on like just kind of ramping up how bizarre and over the top it was. Like, and it didn't really like. Honestly, if it had just been Kick-Ass the anime, that would have been one thing. If it had been Kick-Ass the anime and then did the King Torture thing and then not done anything else, I thought it probably would have been stupid. It's the fact that it that's what I'm
saying. Like, cut the Torture stuff out and just have a 13-episode series where it's from start to finish, Samurai Flamenco from his very beginnings to taking on the street gang, and and you see him overlooking the streets, and they're much more safer and stuff like that, and just ended at that 13-episode mark. I felt that would, on its own, would have been a good enough show as well. I'm not taking anything really away from this because overall I did enjoy the show. It's definitely not like a huge success, but I enjoyed it for the most part. It was enjoyable.
I mean, I originally gave it an 8. Like,
Yeah.
I might downgrade it to a 7.
I enjoyed it. I enjoed it.
I was initially giving it a 6. Dropped it down to a 4. I fucking hate this series. I can't believe you guys are giving it as much praise as you are.
The animation quality was good.
The animation quality was good.
I still find it hilarious that Samurai Flamenco's solution to the end result was, "Hey, Goto, marry me."
Yeah, no, that was kind of. I was like, "Oh, is something interesting
You don't
happening?"
understand.
Oh, no.
You don't understand how this works at all. Like, you would be better off with Mari asking that.
Here's the thing.
And what is her fascination with kicking in the nuts?
Yeah, that's clearly fan service towards ball busting, dude. I mean, like, I'm not even joking. That's clearly so stupid.
You know, actually, now that we've mentioned ball busting and fan service, this is a show that really doesn't have fan service in it a whole lot. Like,
really?
Not
the lesbian crime fighters?
How often do the 3 women make out?
Well, to be fair, there's only 2 of them make out for most of it. The third one joins later.
Fair enough.
The third one joins later, and they don't actually show it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they don't make out for long. Making out
they make out covered in vomit and snot.
Is like tits in your face or butt in your face.
Like, I will give you that. There is not a huge amount of that aspect of fan service, but there's other forms of it.
Keep in mind what fan service is. Fan service isn't necessarily sexual. It's doing things that they think the fan will enjoy, but kind of like throwing it in there as like, oh, we don't, it's not necessarily central to the plot. It's something where it's clearly to try and get an interest or a reaction from certain people. Does that make any sense? That's an awful.
And keep in mind that I am normally oblivious to fan service, so I just don't notice it on like a high level. So it's like,
yeah.
You guys always complain about the fan service. Like, I really didn't notice it.
Well, you watch a lot more anime than I do, so
I usually just blank out the fan service. Like, over the top titty jiggles, I notice, but for the most part, I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to pay attention to it a little bit because a lot of the times it either bothers me or it's like whatever. Like, I mean, but anyway, so.
And what is with the sparkly vomit?
Yeah, what is with sparkly vomit? I have you. So, what other animes have sparkly vomit in them?
Konosuba.
Well, that was Rainbow.
Did Konosuba?
Yeah. That was kind of funny.
There was sparkly.
Oh, that was hysterical.
It was. Oh, I'm not. But it just seems to be like they kind of glossed that over.
Yeah.
What do you like in Flamenco or in Konosuba?
Well, Flamenco, really.
Oh,
Konosuba's just funny. She drank too much and got drunk and vomited.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think that I think it's just a stylistic thing. They just made a sparkly vomit.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, it might be almost like a form of censorship because they didn't want to show like real vomit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it definitely is a form, but I think it's funny that they make it sparkly. Like, why even bother animating it at all? Why not do it off screen? Like a lot of shows that have vomit scenes.
That's someone's fetish.
To do it audibly, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
Or they'll have him like go like this, and the face is like from here down is off screen, and you get the sound. But
yeah,
they actually made a conscious choice to show it leaving the mouth for some reason.
Yeah. Again, someone's fetish.
I do kind of like how they chose to represent Mari's character after torture, with her whole like mental instability about her whole questioning why she was doing stuff. I didn't. At first, I'm just like whatever. And then,
I get what you're saying, but that's also so out of tone and out of character for the series.
Well, because it is, but it's following these people who are wanting to be superheroes. And they're coming to grips with the reality of their choice. Like,
but they also
She's going
if anything else, that's kind of. I mean, isn't that kind of what you wanted, though? Like, you wanted them to be like, oh, shit, like, there's actually things that go along with this. Like, she had to make, like, a strong choice to, like, you know, when Mari or whatever the other girl's name was it's like, you can either say this thing, or I'm gonna, like, you know, crush your finger and torture her. And she's, you know, it's like, but you didn't really want to, it's like, you didn't really mean that. You just said it because you thought it was what I wanted to hear. And, like, and it's something that fucks with her for the rest of the series. Like, and I mean,
she is the one who, throughout the entire series, she sees herself as the main character. She is the central focus. Everyone else is beneath me. You know, that's the whole point of her breakdown, is her unassuming, basically girl who was dragged in, who will do whatever she says, has a stronger, like, is more brave than she is, like, so to speak. Like, it rattles her to the core that she has this very high self-image of herself, and then to be confronted with the fact that her image is lacking. You know, it's kind of a push for it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at Mr. Flamenco. Like, he's constantly having to question, like, what it means to be a superhero and what the consequences of his actions are. Like, he does. There's a lot of shit that, like, he puts on people. It's like, I mean, if you think about it, basically, like, the whole, like, both the torture and King Torture and From Beyond and everything that comes after it, this is all his fault because this is what he wanted. Like, and so he basically bears the responsibility for, like, all the shit that's been happening to Japan. And then when that one last dude, like, shows up at the very end, it's like, I watched you from the beginning and I wanted to be a villain. It's like he's really faced with, like, oh shit,
the
like,
consequences of his actions. Like, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes, I get that.
It's like,
whether it's intentional or not.
I can do. What do you mean not intentional? I think it's very intentional.
No. The idea of, like, it wasn't intent. It's whether it wasn't Flamenco's intention to turn this guy evil. It's just like, just because you're trying to do something good doesn't mean the outcome
always good. Doesn't always outcome. One thing I did find really not annoying, but that really detracted from Hazuma's character is the fact that I've been training my whole life to be a superhero. It's my one dream. It's what I wanted to do. Never once took a self-defense class. Never once actually did any physical training. Never tried to do anything until Kanoe came along and basically challenged his right to be Flamenco in the beginning, where he was basically, I found that was really funny when he came out there and claimed to be Flamenco, because it's like, oh, it's a washed-up actor trying to make a couple bucks.
Yeah,
you know, at the end, he's trying to.
But then he kind of spins it around, and like, and to be fair, like, it's kind of it's amusing because it's like, is he really just a washed-up actor who is, like, trying to steal the spotlight? And is he really, and later on, is he really just, like, teaching some kind of rudimentary self-defense stuff to this kid while taking advantage of free food and watching all of his exploits on DVD? Or is he actually helpful?
And then halfway through the series, all of a sudden, like, the Red Axe is a major hero in the world. Like, he actually runs the Flamengers as a, you know, some head honcho guy. Like, you know, he's been traveling the world scouting people to join his crew, but all he could find is Red Rangers. He can only find leaders. I did find that hilarious. Like, so this was Team A. Team A is dead. So you're really good at scouting leaders, but you're shitting the other guys. So you basically have a room full of leaders who they have to beat down and take control of. So there are bits and pieces of each section that I did find hilarious and interesting.
But it doesn't go together in an interesting and compelling narrative. The whole thing's disjointed. The whole thing jumps all over the place, and it doesn't feel like it's well tied together. And at no point do I feel like there's really consequences or, like, dramatic tension or any, oh no, they could die in this. Oh no, the world could end. I felt none of that. Like, I know they're telling, not showing.
Right, but if you look at traditional Japanese, like, shows that way, unless you're really young, there's never really an implied doom with that. You know the superhero is gonna win. You know this is gonna happen. Like they're gonna make the Zoid, or the Megazord, and they're gonna win.
I mean, it's like the samurai. Flamenco's gonna win. Like it's kind of like fucking Fist of the North Star. It's like that's the whole point of Fist of the North Star is that Ken's gonna win. Like no matter what. Like he doesn't even get fucking hurt. He does some crazy move and the dude explodes. And it's like it's kind of like the whole point is waiting for the dude to explode at the end of the episode. Like and everything else is just kind of inconsequential. At least with this, it's like it's still making comments on all of that, and there is character development, and there is like
I feel that they could have pushed the storyline where Gato got pissed off with them in the beginning of Torture. I mean, where he's like, "Fine, you're on your own." That kind of went nowhere. I really wish there would have been a point where Flamenco had needed him and reached out to him and was like, "No, you're on your own. Fuck you guys." And
most of this went nowhere, dude. It flounders. I fucking hated it. And at no point, like I get what you're saying. You're saying a lot of it's like, well, a lot of these shows, a lot of these Super Sentai shows or whatever, a lot of them are like that. It's like, okay, that's fine to an extent, but that doesn't necessarily make for an interesting narrative. And in fact, I think a lot of the fucking Inazuma, no joke, has more tension than this show. There's a lot of times where it's like, oh shit, they're destroying the city. And that person, it's a bus underwater. Like they're drowning people. And you get like, kind of more of a feeling of like, I felt more of a connection to those characters and more, I don't know, concern or fear or whatever from those villains in a rubber suit than I did from any of these characters here. Like none of them were interesting.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with the exception of the 8 police officers that Guillotine Gorilla killed.
No, he only killed 2 initially.
I thought they said 8. Well, in that episode there was 8. Like there was like 4 or 5 people got killed. Like 3 of them.
Yeah, basically, you're right. Other than the people that Guillotine Gorilla kills, no one else dies. Like, and that's kind of, to me, it's almost like that's kind of a comment in and of itself. It's like things just kind of like slowly but surely, like, it's like people are like, oh, there's monsters now, and then monsters kind of become commonplace. It's like, oh no, now there's like things coming out of the sea, and like there's lots and lots of them, and people kind of run around and whatnot. But for the most part, they're kind of like, what's next? It's weird because it's reality is bending to the will of this one dude's desire. Like,
it was interesting how with like From Beyond, it's like, all right, you've killed the 4 kings. Now it's time for the 64 generals. It's like, and each subdivision of From Beyond just got more expansive and expansive to the point where there's like 65,000 members of From Beyond. It's like, oh shit.
Well, that like, okay, but that goes nowhere. Like, again, that doesn't really do anything. Like they kind of
have a mass attack, and they all the other superheroes that they all thought were just TV shows.
Okay, to be fair, I did forget about that. Yeah,
like they all came. It's like, no, we are actually heroes. It shows that,
and we've been protecting Japan from all this time. Like, you watched us on TV, but we've actually been doing this too. Like,
yeah, no, I did forget about that, but honestly,
I get it. You didn't like it, like
no, but like it's more along the lines of the reasons you're giving for like why you guys are either giving it a pass or liking it are the same reasons I am giving that I fucking hate it. Like,
that's why we
weird.
have such good discussions, because we all have different tastes and different viewpoints on this stuff. That's
I mean, like,
no, I know what you're saying. Just whatever, keep going.
But I did enjoy, like, in the beginning of the show where they actually showed some of the TV series that were online, like Ensemble, which was the musical group. They all played brass. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a very creative, like, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger clone. And then there's the Money Rangers, who is
initially I thought that'd be cool, and then they just kept, thank you very much, and then just I don't know.
Harikiri Sunshine and stuff like that. It was interesting, I thought. Like,
yeah, Cameron, I think the problem is that you kind of wanted a cohesive whole, and we're just more like kind of delighted by the little bits and pieces that were interesting. Like, you know,
but I mean, I'm not saying there aren't any redeeming qualities, but the things that are redeeming are so. Seriously, did this need to be 22 episodes? This entire story could have been told up.
I feel if they had stopped it sooner than 22 episodes, they wouldn't be able to get anywhere. Like, if you had stopped at From Beyond, if you had stopped at the end of Torture, that wouldn't have been a watchable show.
I think
you had to go all the way. Like, I think
it honestly would have been better if 3 episodes of this, and then we're swapping. Oh no! Like, if it changed more rapidly. Then there's so many different ways.
But you just complained about like how it changed way too rapidly. Like,
here's the problem. Let me explain. So the problem is it's right in the middle of a lot of different things. If you did it more serious, it could be interesting in this way. If they did it more goofy, it could be interesting in this way. If they had it changing more rapidly, it would be interesting in this way. Or like. No,
to be fair, I don't think there's any particular arc that goes over 4 episodes.
I don't know, man.
Like, you have him being Solo.
Well, how many arcs are there? There's
like 4 or 5.
Solo.
The Solo, then when Flamenco joins in, then when Flamenco Plus joins in, Flamenco Girls form the actual group when he gives up, or not gives up, but he decides, I'm going to be my own hero. Then they go into Terror, and then From Beyond, and then the part with the Prime Minister, then the Alien, then the Kid, and all throughout that, there's also mini sublines in there through personal development. So I mean, there's like 6 or 7 different arcs that they cover in 22 episodes.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Some of them are combined, but not all of them.
To me, it just managed to hit that sweet spot of disinterest and mediocrity. Like, I just could not get it. And I tried, man. Like, there's a couple parts where I'm like, oh, interesting. Or like, oh, they're changing. Maybe it'll be good now. And then, nah, not really. Like, there are a couple of cool ideas, but...
Torture came out. Like, the first part of Torture, I was bored with. Towards the end of every arc, I started picking back up on it.
I kind of like that because, like, okay, good. Maybe it's moving really goofy now. Like, maybe they're just kind of like, oh, this is weird.
The
but
Walrus
like, what if
was kind of funny? I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
It's something the Walrus or even just
like
whatever. It's just,
he got tons of
yeah. Saw him.
But then they also played that too serious. So it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Like, oh no, this is I don't know how to describe it, man. It's just ugh.
It looks at it as a serious point because to everyone else it wasn't serious because they had someone who could take care of it. If Flamenco wasn't there, the police were not equipped to handle it because none of their weapons would do any damage. So it's one of those, it is serious, but at the same time, oh, it's not, don't worry. We don't have to worry about the dishes piling up because we got Kevin washing the dishes.
Yeah, I got
Yeah, and also, I mean, like, isn't it interesting that, like, the things that work against these villains are basically, like, super-powered stationary. They're not even magic. They're just, like, this dude just made, like, stationary that, like, works really, really, really well. And for some reason, this is the thing that actually hurts the bad guys and not guns. Like...
I didn't find that was really funny because it's just like, I need to escape, quick, sticky glue.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are things where it's like, again, I feel like in a better handled series that could have been really interesting. But like, there's a couple things where like that's cool, and there are other things where it's like, why'd you do that? Like, oh, here, take this pen. It's a tracking device. Really? Okay, like. I don't know. It's just something.
The whole point of the tracer was to see where they'd actually send them because they didn't know where that door led. Like this whole way, hey, this door can go to the ship, or they could dump you in space because they.
Which I did kind of like. I kind of like that idea where it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't know. It could be the middle of the earth. Who knows? Maybe you shouldn't go through it. I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Oh, that nothing happens. Oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't know.
If they do that, it would end the show. like,
I know what you're
the only
saying.
person
No,
who can
I know
stop
what
me
you're
is now
saying.
dead.
I know what you're saying, but like, there's still, you know what I mean? There's still things you can do with that. It doesn't have. There's so many different things. I don't know what else. Why does it need to be
Well,
called?
I mean, like,
You know,
what the part of what might be the thing that you don't like about this was a series that they did very similar to what they did with Ergo Proxy, where they took a really good writer and a really good director and let them do whatever the fuck they wanted. Like, and that's what this series is. Like, it was a writer and a director getting to do whatever they wanted to do. Like, and so in some ways it does kind of feel like, they just kind of went these different directions and exhausted it to a certain point and then just kind of picked up and did something new. And I will agree with you, Cameron, that it isn't the best series in the world, and there is a lot of potential for it to have been a lot better. Like, I think the whole Flamengers thing was kind of a letdown, to be honest with you. But I mean, but I like that it actually did what it did. Like, because I think that if it had been too much like Madoka, or if it had been too much like something else, then it would have just been boring and derivative. Like, I mean, this is, like, you don't really have very many series that kind of just do something like this. Like, it's different, and I like that about it.
I don't know, man, because it came off to me as like boring and derivative. Like, it has all these tropes and stereotypes, but it doesn't have anything smart to do. It just plays, and it's like, oh, get it? It's like in these shows. It's like, well, yeah, but like, you're not doing anything with that. You know what I mean? You can do things with that where it's like, I'm this character, but I don't really have a reason to be, or like, there's a way you can do this in a smart, engaging manner, or like add a little twist to it. And they didn't. They just
I think it added plenty of twists to it.
Oh, shit.
The whole thing was twists.
What was it? No, all the twists sucked. What was a good twist here?
What was a good twist? I mean, Guillotine Gorilla was a pretty decent twist.
That was the only one that I thought was interesting, and I was hoping, and then it's like, I was hoping it would start to go wacky or whatever, but I mean, I thought that was interesting because, not wacky enough.
That the Prime Minister being a superhero was kind of interesting.
I kind of thought that was interesting as well. It was an interesting idea, and like, I like the idea of all the suits based on his approval rating. I was like, okay, interesting idea. Again, like, don't worry about how it works, but just like, okay, that could have been cool. And then, I don't know.
But he had to be defeated.
I'm not saying he needs to win. That's not. There's a way of doing all this and still making it interesting. And to me, it was just boring, man.
I did like how they actually called the actual cop a cosplay freak.
No.
Because he was samurai policeman. Get out of here, you cosplay freak.
One of the things I liked from it was I think it was talking to the alien, where it's like, hey, this is a way of achieving peace and all this stuff. And he's like, never! It's like, what? You fucking idiot. Like, that's just, like, why? He's like, and gives a really stupid reason.
I don't know.
Like, that's a stupid, I don't know. That's a stupid reason. It's like, the difference between justice and stupid is a fine line. And it's like, okay, I kind of like that, though. Like this thing where it's like, yeah, okay, I know. It's fucking stupid me going after people who accidentally litter or people who put their trash out technically on the previous day. Like, but it's still the law. Yeah. No, I like
we have laws and reasons for a reason.
No. I got that. I liked that though. Like, I like that kind of made a connection there. But like, aside from that, man, I don't know.
Like, we get it. You don't like it.
I like the old lady.
What else do you want me to say? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe talk more about the stuff that you like. Like, I mean, it's just, it's not that you like. You're allowed to have your own opinion. You're allowed to not like the series. That's fine. But if you're just gonna sit here and mope about it, then what's the fucking point?
I'm not moping.
Like,
I don't know what you want me to say. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Like, there's a couple things I liked, but they're just like glimmers. I could say, like I told you, I liked the torch. I like the putty thing. I like that it was over the top. I like that. I like some of the stationary weapon I thought was kind of goofy and fun. But then, like, after that, I'm just waiting for stuff to happen, and I feel like nothing of interest like, there's not much I can comment on. It's hard for me to be like, this I like or this I like. Like, there's just not. I don't think you really. I don't know, man. It's a bunch of. It seemed like a bunch of ideas left over from previous projects, or like that people had thrown out, and they just kind of bound it all together. Like, it didn't feel. Yeah, I don't know, man. And that's the problem, because right now you're like, I get it, you don't like it, but I don't know what I can say because there's so little I actually like about this. Like, I don't know.
I liked where the old lady who was getting yelled at for the trash is like, okay, fine, you deal with it then.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, you put it out. It's too early for me. It's just.
Or how about the fact that the dude like strips naked and yells "Baka" at like his love interest, like at the top of his lungs, over and over and over.
I want to say it was just a
very
friend
end.
that he doesn't understand what love is. It's like he doesn't understand friendship. It's like, you're a real close friend to me. Marry me. Please put clothes on.
I remember when I first watched the series, I really liked that there was kind of like this gay subplot with them, and rewatching it, there's kind of a gay subplot going on with them, and it's kind of adorable, to be honest with you. Yeah, so it's fan service that I actually like.
Azama needs to put down the fucking man purse. God damn it. Everywhere, it's like, you are the worst. Put down that goddamn man purse. That is not functional.
All right. Well, have we kind of exhausted things to talk about?
Pretty much, man.
All right. Well, okay. Well, Cameron, it's your turn for the homework. What do you suggest?
Well, I'm thinking of a couple things. I'm looking at there's Psycho Mob 100 I want to watch. I really enjoyed that from what I've seen. There's Erased. That's supposed to be really good. And then there's the Time Before Eve, which is only 6 episodes. And I think is initially a movie, but I'm not sure which is better.
Well,
yeah.
Erased
Time of Eve.
Erased was really fucking good.
Is there a lot that
Mob Psycho 100 was really fucking good.
Time of Eve series.
What do you pick a number, Lucas. 1 to 3. 1 to 3.
2.
2. Okay, I guess we're doing a race then. Now, fuck it. We'll do Psycho. Dan, what do you think?
Do Time of Eve.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, actually.
It's your choice, man.
Fuck it, let's do Time of Eve because it's 6 episodes. We can knock it out,
and the animation looks really good.
It's supposed to be a classic. Anyway, yeah, fuck it. We're doing Time of Eve. This week's homework is Time of Eve.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
this has been Bakarama. Thank you all for joining, or not. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks,
yeah, maybe even a week, dude. I don't know. Well, it's a definite maybe. Some point in time. 6 episodes, guys. Surely we should be able to knock it out real quick.
Yeah, and then it's gonna come. It's gonna come a month later. And it's like, I haven't finished. Let me watch before we record the cast.
Hold on.
Hey! I want to point out we normally have issues finishing a 13-episode show before 2 weeks is up. 2 of us plowed through 22 episodes in 2 weeks.
Fucking chore, dude. Ugh. It's a real rough one, dude. Ugh.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Toodles.
Bye.